welcome back to European LCS 2017 Spring Split. It's game 2 between Splyce and Origen. Splyce have side selection. They have opted to pick blue side. You saw Splyce returning to stage. Yeah, there's no shocks there. Crepo, we're getting ready for picks and bans. Splyce, hell of a statement in game 1.
Super clean.
They now have the options to target ban, and obviously on the side of Origen, they've got to do the 3 specific bans. We've seen so much priority around like junglers. Rek'Sai or what? What is Wisdom going to play?
I mean, if you're Wisdom at this point, you may as well play Evelynn. Because if being invisible is part of your style, you may as well just pick it up. Haha, cheap joke, no. Actually, I would like to see him play Ivern. Because I think it would fit his style. Because he is conservative, like we call it invisible. He's conservative, he wants to help his team. Rek'Sai clearly isn't the answer, because you one knock-up, right?
Yep.
Like, Daisy does that for you multiple times. So an Ivern poke comp, I think, is actually the go-to for Origen if they can get their hands on it. Because it just has a really simple gameplay pattern. Problem is, it's very desired right now in the current metagame because it's such a strong composition.
Alright, so do Splyce anticipate this and potentially ban Varus or Jhin or something similar? It's going to be the Zyra and the Malzahar this time round. Taken off the table, and that allows Origen a little bit more freedom in that support role.
Yeah. This is kind of the old school bans. You ban out 2 supports, then you go for the next one. You get an early pick Kha'Zix, I think you can go for here. I like the Ivern ban. It's definitely worth against Wisdom, because you don't want to give a jungler of that style, that type of jungler.
Especially we've seen just how powerful those Ivern plus 3 poke champions can be. Kha'Zix still available, so you have to anticipate that first pick here.
Yeah. Kha'Zix, you could technically give it away if you really value Varus here, and you really want to build that comp. I think that's something that Misfits did against Fnatic, and then Amazing decided to play full AP Elise. So if you have that read on your opponents, definitely leave Kha'Zix open. But that's also when Ivern was in the mix.
Yeah, it was available, and that means Splyce going to go for that safe pick. Sartorius on screen. Look, it wasn't a bad performance. His lane was okay, but as a team, they just didn't seem to respond quickly enough or have a good enough grasp of the mechanics. It's going to be that flex pick Jace.
He keeps going for those carry tops here. Sartorius really wants to make a statement. Definitely want to go Varus. Like, this is the foundation of a poke composition. But ideally, I was thinking maybe Varus Shen could be a good option here. Let's play conservative top side, then go for Varus Corki somehow, and just play kind of a poke comp on the side of Origen. They have the flex pick Jace, which gives you a lot of options, especially in the second ban phase.
I mean, both Sartorius and Nahyun have played Jace, so if Splyce go for the Shen now, Sartorius consider the Rumble? Is that something you would think about? Obviously, Senkux has run that Mordekaiser into Katarina in the past. I feel like this is a callback to that game.
Yeah, good old throwback.
But I'm taking a look at the support pool.
Shen should come out here. Like, it's.
Do you go Rumble now? It's also something Sartorius has played. Is it too risky?
It's. I would like it actually. Because what are you gonna? Let's see. What is he gonna play into the Shen? He can play the Jace Shen matchup. It requires jungle pressure, but he already is playing against the Kha'Zix. Does he really want to do that? Let's see what else could they pick up here that has a lot of value. No, I think locking the Jace in mid blind is gonna be a bit rough. But if you're playing 4 comp, picking up a Rumble here could be good.
All right, so Rumble. Something we've seen into Shen so many times. Instead, it is going to be Elise. Doesn't want to get lower down the tier list on those junglers. Yeah. Rek'Sai was available, but we got away from it.
So now the Rumble has to be banned out on the side of Splyce, or doesn't have to be, but it'd be a high value ban. Indicators junglers are matched, and then there's a flex. So you just generate good matchups for you in the top lane, I think, if you're a Splyce at least.
Alright, so Origen, however, have decided they're going to get rid of that Corki. So take that away from Senkux, that sort of comfort pick that he's got in the mid lane. Syndra still up, Rise still up.
With the Corki ban out, it feels like this Jace is going top more like, actually mid more likely, because Corki would be a good pick mid in this comp. You don't triple poke with an Elise, group up early and look for catches. But that doesn't mean he's going to play Jace into Shen.
For Origen, if they end up going this like poke route, which it kind of feels like they might be, early game is so important, isn't it? You cannot afford to lose lane.
If you get behind on poke comp, you just sign your death warrant. But if you are like equal on a poke comp, that's when you can really start snowballing really easy. It doesn't take a lot of brains to group up and just try and hit people.
Origen were doing a lot of grouping up in game 1.
Yeah.
They had limited options, so
yeah, they didn't like their side lanes. They treated their side lanes like bastard children. No. Only the chosen one we go to. Only mid lane.
All right, so the Rumble was not banned out like we were expecting. Instead, Syndra and Cassio, so mid lanes, removed from the table with Rise and Corki gone as well.
I see the Talia coming out then from Splyce here.
Or Origen if you're Splyce, or is that not really a thing you'd want with Kha'Zix Shen?
I feel like you get pushed, the likelihood of you getting pushed in and being able to answer. I mean, there's this like really beautiful wombo combo in your head, right? Where you're like, oh, Kha'Zix, I choose you, go in. And then the Oriana ultis and everybody flashes out and you die anyways. So I would like to see the Talia, because you can really put a lot of minion wave pressure on these comps, and you can just wall off the guys when they're sieging too. Yeah,
especially with the global pressure you can put with that Shen. The other option is the very boring Victor that we're seeing a little bit more this week. Just seen enough of him. Mickey has defaulted to that Karma, played that a whole bunch. It's actually his most played support in that bottom lane, and there's the Victor. So safe, secure. Hiva gonna get the Nami. What do you make of the comps?
So it's the best pusher left for Splyce here in the Karma, so I think they're just hoping that Karma Jin could just AFK push in Tabs and Hiva again, and then they have a safe mid lane that they end up picking. The Jace, just like we thought, will go mid in the end, because there is a good matchup, but if you look at matchups-wise, mid is okay. I think Victor does well at the Jace though, so that's definitely doable. It has to go for Sartorius again. This Shen has to die at level 3, ideally. With the wave control that a Rumble brings, with the information that you have, I would even go as far as Origen. They may want to just leash bot side for their jungler, and just accept that they're going to get pushed in anyways. They're not good enough to get an advantage from their jungler and run with it, so why don't you just try to lose gracefully and really put everything on Sartorius and try to make him snowball?
I think that's an exceptionally interesting viewpoint because of what could happen. If Sartorius is unlocked, and if Sartorius can then snowball that top lane, and then continue to attack the global, you also mitigate. There's no Talia mid, so Senkax can't get up there like, you know, on the Victor as easily, for obvious reasons.
Because it's really hard for a Shen who has a wave stacked in front of the turret versus a Rumble who's on borderline overheat range, and then Elise who comes in with turret reset abilities to survive that. Especially since so much of it is spell-based and Shen's main kit is just denying auto attacks, you're just gonna die.
Do you think Origen as a team will do that? I know this is a theoretical approach.
That's why I'm saying it now.
Yeah.
And I'm not waiting for them to do it and then praise them for it, because I don't think it's gonna happen.
All right, well, we're gonna see whether or not they do. I mean, the team composition could be played that way. You can see it on your screens right now. Origen still yet to pick up a game. They may go 0-8 if Splyce can take it away. Week 3, day 3.
But every single game is a fresh start. Doesn't matter if you're 10-0, 0-10, everybody starts with the same items, same amount of gold, so it's all technically possible. The best kind of possible.
It is technically, but what do you do if you're in Origen's situation? Because they are 0-7 down. As a team, they didn't demonstrate sort of fundamentals that you've come to expect.
You go bowling.
Okay, tell me why.
You go for like team bonding activities, because clearly the practice is not paying off. I know, but like keeping the team spirit high is honestly more important than a single scrim session can do for you. And that is the most difficult point. Is like when Splyce get behind, these guys have so much routine that they won't crack. They'll say, you know what, I accept that can happen. That is literally variance. But when you're Origen and maybe in scrims your mid laner died every game and he dies on stage, your first reaction is not going to be like, how do we fix this? Your first reaction in your head is going to be, damn, he died again. I'm going to lose. And then your team, like your sense of team spirit just gets broken, and then you're fighting an uphill battle from minute 1. And that's the problem when you play in losing teams. Ooh, Wisdom, he's doing it. Look at it. It's going bot side.
Okay, off to a decent start. Tabs and Hiva gonna come and give the leash.
Yeah.
So Crepo, step 1
is done.
In the get Sartorius ahead plan.
Watch them throw us a curveball and just gank bot level 2 and just piss us off even more. Because you don't want to gank this bot lane. But yeah, it's good. The problem is that you do give it away, but it's a good clear for Elise.
Okay, so information will be provided to Splyce by the fact that Origen's not there. Sartorius going to go in, just get a nosy of that Sentinel, so more information here for Origen.
And Trashy can't punish this. If Trashy somehow, like even if Sartorius goes low, Trashy will never gank topside because he knows he'll lose his entire bot side jungle to the release. Okay, you can see he's just pathing down, so he's going for wolves and then for his red buff. And then Elise will likely just do the same thing, so it could happen. We need to just keep an eye on the wave on the top lane and how Sartorius is manipulating that one.
All right, so at the moment, Hiva and Tabs getting shoved in again. This is a snowball from the decision-making earlier.
Ooh, Tabs. He's got 1 CS. Those were all attainable CS if they had some synergy together.
Not on the same page. Let's quickly take a look at the top lane. Wonder is being shoved in here by Sartorius.
It almost feels too early, unless you can just stack the next wave. Usually you can slow stack waves. So it may not be the plan. It may just be the plan, I guess, maybe to poke him. Could be the setup. Wonder always hiding behind creeps here. Very important. Never get an E from Rumble on you.
Well, where is Wisdom now? Wisdom's got it clear. He's picked up that red buff, potentially setting a tower dive. Remember, he can reset with that repel if needed.
The shed has to be roughly at like 75% before you go into it, and that is the risk otherwise. This is the cannon wave. This is the wave you want to dive ideally. So the plan could work.
Okay, could work. We're going to judge whether or not Wisdom and Sartorius can pull it off. Cobby and Mickey continue the shove. That's what we somewhat expected.
But the wave stack isn't ideal because now there's another wave and now kind of Wisdom is wasting time and he's peeling away right now. So again, if you want to go for that dive, you really need to stack the first two waves and not push them in, because then Wunder just aggressively fights the bounce and this happens. And your jungler misses his timing window. And Shen actually gets access to level 3 instead of 2 and everything goes down the drain.
That means all of that game plan now out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the little drop down there on the screen. 88% of games Splyce have conceded first blood. In raw numbers, that means 8 times they have done so. They are in 9th game right now.
Yeah, now it's even CS in a losing matchup for Wunder. Wunder played it well.
Wonder played it well, and Sartorius and Wisdom not necessarily on the same page. Maybe that's not the right term, but maybe not practiced.
Yeah, or they just didn't want to go for the strategy because it's too risky and they don't want to backfire. But like, look, imagine if you like, you can see the elements of why Rumble wins this matchup so well, right? In exactly this gameplay pattern right here.
Yeah, decent sidestep there from Hiva. Manages to get away from the deadly flourish, but look at that damage!
It's big crit.
Cobby and Mickey. That fourth shot really hurt. All right, Wonder. You've now baited in. It is a counter gank, but the flame spitter on the harpoons. First blood to Origen.
Ah, that's a good one for Origen. Completely unexpected. He returned and lane ganked, and that's honestly Trashy being overly bold. You gotta respect your opposing jungler, right? Like, look at the lanes. Where is Wisdom gonna pay any attention to? Let's see what Trashy's doing here. Oh, Trashy.
All right, Cocoon went wide. That's a flash forward from Wisdom. The little Spiderling's not gonna get the hit, though.
When did his red buff expire? Or just didn't do an auto?
Don't know if he managed to get that auto off. Wonder.
I wonder if Wisdom had red buff on that flash. I'm gonna go back and check.
While Crepo's checking that one out. It wasn't the way that the play was anticipated, but Origen still got first blood. It was secured by Wisdom in a gank top lane. And Sartorius is going to have to continue playing out this matchup now with an assist.
Yeah, so his red buff expired like 10 seconds ago. It's kind of unfortunate, but he could have definitely swallowed that. Definitely worked. But yeah, you need to look at your opposing jungler, and that's how really great junglers read the map. They see where they start, they see where they could go, and then they evaluate options. And if you see a Victor getting so pushed in by a Jace, where it's really hard to gank, and you see a bot lane that's constantly under pressure, you can probably guess that Wisdom's not really going to influence these waves, especially when the crucial matchup is top. So dashing in first, using your gap closer without having knowledge of where the enemy jungler is essentially a risky play by Trashy. If it pays off, it's the most genius ganks because they swing the matchup. But there's a reason that a lot of junglers hesitate to do that, and they leave bad matchups to lose gracefully, because then you avoid exactly that.
And you know, Wonder's a player who actually can do that.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of experience being under pressure, and obviously with the champion of choice, you can just impact another lane. Give up a 10 CS or so, 15 CS, and get a kill somewhere else, because Cobby and Mickey are having a field day against Tabs and Hiva.
Yep. So, yep. They denied the early base here too. That's really good. You never want to give a Varus tier and serrated Dirk if you can. So if you can base first, get your serrated yourself, but keep him outside of tier window. And because it's CS lead, they get serrated plus boots. Obviously no Doran start here on either side. It's a really good base timing for Cobby and Mickey. That's why they were maybe so aggressively trading.
We'll see if they can make advantage of that damage advantage early. Crep, if we go back to look at now the OG team composition, marginally ahead, they've got that kill. There's a lot of poke that they can work with, but no real front line. So do they need to continue snowballing this ahead and obviously not give up a kill here to Sartorius?
Yeah, that would be the case. Let's see what Trashy can achieve here. There's a flash on Sartorius. He obviously needs to respect the distance. Here's Trashy.
All right, flash in. We'll lead. Trashy will be happy
Trashy
with
gets
that
a flashy, and Sartorius walks away. That's good. Now Wisdom needs to be able to cross-map this. Obviously, Wave can come out here with ulti from Sartorius if he wants to. He can also just start farming because Trashy's leaving. Yeah, he's just going to push the wave. I like this from Sartorius.
What does it do pressure-wise? Shoving the wave in, keeps Wonder locked on the tower.
He wants to reset the wave. He doesn't want it eternally frozen, so he gets denied CS. He's just going to base. He can't keep Wunder away. Wunder has 10 United anyways. But look at Wisdom. He traded this gank top and the flash for vision in the bot side, and he's waiting for red buff to spawn. He has the timers coming up. So this is essentially good capitalization from Origen.
Well, it already feels like Origen have been off to a slightly better start. I mean, hold that thought. I may have to take that back. Hiva, the curtain is called. Tabs, block shots 2 and 3. Shot number 4 swings around, but not enough for the kill.
Copper Jolie bends the bullet.
Doesn't find the kill, though, unfortunately.
Doesn't find the kill right there. Origen. Or Hiva, who are we talking about?
No, finish the thought.
I think they have a decent start here. They just need to get something done from Wisdom.
Okay, Kobe actually steps forward. Hiva sidesteps the deadly flourish.
Bold positioning by Hiva, let's call it that. It takes a great man to die a lot in every game and still be able to stand alone in the second Russian lane.
Confident play. Confident play.
Hiva establishes himself as the alpha right there.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm in a bad spot, but I can do it.
Yeah, I'm doing this on purpose.
Faith in the bubble.
Opting into this.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because Tabs and Hiva, they've bounced back from being in a tower, being under a lot of pressure. It actually looks like the last few minutes, Tabs and Hiva have been the ones that have been pushing Kobe and Mickey back somewhat.
Yeah, the lane also caters to it. Like, it's a good poke, but Hiva should not be playing up on level 5. It's just, if you drag a line between AD carry and support, it should always have a purpose, and it seems that they're never on the same page and the same depth in the lane. One guy's poking, the other guy's farming. Origen, that's good.
Pretty much even trade though, if you look at that. Origen maybe a little more HP, and he's got a potion to work with, so that may end up benefiting him.
Yeah, and they both want to get to base because they're sitting on over 1,000 gold on each side, I think, at this point. The game is slowing down. Trashy is looking for another opening. And again, the gameplay pattern for Splyce is so centered around this bot lane. Neutralize or push in mid, have Shen ulti on Trashy, dive bot. Because Nami and Varys are really, really squishy.
And they've definitely got the tools to do so.
It's gonna happen at this point. Sartorius, but there's a TP ward. There's a lane ward in the brush. This could be the backfiring. They expire really soon though. There's only 4 seconds left.
Crepo, Trashy is already jumping in on the squishies. Tabs and Hiva, they've been opened up on. Stand United will deliver Tabs to Wonder's hands. And Hiva flashes over the walls to safety.
And look at Wisdom. Wisdom's top lane is like, guys, where did everybody go? Why are they bot lane? Guess why? Because they're diving the bot lane again.
Is Sartorius at risk of being dove here? He's used Equalizer. He's teleported down. Where is the rest of Splyce? Sartorius, where are you going, man? Get back to your tower, man! Sartorius is down.
He falls. The wave is still alive. Now Wunder goes back to the top layer where enemy jungler is still frantically trying to get this turret. There is no communication or planning on this Origen roster.
First tower blood, 2 additional kills. The teleport from Sartorius. Oh, Hiva, why are you trying to defend this man?
Because they're
racing.
racing.
Exhaust is going to go down. Tower still survives, though. Summon a heal. Hiva, is it worth it to save tower first blood?
If we get first
sticking
blood,
around.
yes. Because they're so close, and the Wisdom is top lane, but where does Storage? Storage is based, so again, they could have raced for this first turret. Now Wisdom, he's been sieging turret as a jungler for over a minute and a half right now.
And they don't get tower first blood.
I mean, don't let the the meta decide what you like. You can be whatever you want to be. You can be a top laner Wisdom, even if though you're Elise and you have no attack damage, you can siege a turret.
Eventually. It's the only word I'll add on to the end, Crepo.
Yep.
But exactly as you'd mentioned, squishy bottom lane, easy target, no ultimate for Hiva.
Yeah.
And Trashy and Wonder just double team to get themselves a few kills.
Kinky.
But tower first blood still available.
Yeah. But it's just the fact that Sartorius doesn't cancel a teleport, right? Like, he's like, TP's in, he wants to help, sure, I get it. But then he leaves his jungler behind in the top lane. So
yeah.
Origen opted into a situation where they're playing 4v5. Now they desperately want that turret.
Oh,
Sartorius is overextending.
Yeah, he is indeed. Decent flash over the wall. One of the advantages to that play, Sartorius knew where all the flashes were.
Yeah.
Trashy and Wonder.
It was the right flash, great use of the blast cone. So individually, good player. Just communication, they need to be on the same page.
All right, let's take a look. Hiva tagged out by the flourish. I want to ask you a question about that word usage, Trepo. Individually good player. Now, it looked like Origen would just outclass both individually and as a team in game one. That's something we've seen a few times. And Splyce, as a team, have not necessarily been heralded as like the best individual performances. This is definitely a team that is greater than the sum of their parts. Yet Origen's still not there.
Yeah, at times they were ranked as like the top 3 within the roles. Last split, Kobe and Mickey were top 2 bot lane. Great disparity between Sven and Mithy still. Wunder was one of the best top laners. Senkux was mentioned among the mid laners. The problem is it's really hard to gauge individual talent right here, unless you have good team play here. Wunder trying to stay alive because he knows 2 people are roaming up here.
Tower first blood picked up by Splyce. So
yeah, he has to stay out of the wave. He has to try to 1v1 in here.
Alright, good poke damage down to Wunder. Wunder's done a pretty good job of buying time. The tower still not killed yet. Wisdom will be the one that secures the kill. So 1 kill and an additional tower.
And again, because it takes too long to finish this play, which is an okay play, Splyce get the bonus rotation into mid lane. Because you're faster, because you get the inside track really, you just get extra chip damage on this turret, because they finished bot lane turret first ages ago.
But Sartorius hasn't stopped. He's continuing to pressure. Won't get much damage.
He'll push in a cannon wave, which denies some CS. Yeah, Winter will be slightly behind. I don't think they can get too much here.
Support though from Wisdom. So okay, a little bit of evolution here from Origen.
Wisdom shows up, so this is actually good then. For once, they see the power of sieging together.
They work together. Nice. Oh, I'm looking for the cocoon. That's going to interrupt the Stand United. This is a golden oldie. Nobody's going to carry on chasing. But Stand United down, so that, again, it's relieving pressure.
Okay, so that's Splyce not reading the game currently, because technically they could have defended. And Origen finally capitalizing on something somewhat proactively. Pushing through instead of always just basing. That's good for them. They're over 1,500 gold ahead right now. Full tower ahead. The Rumble has hit, honestly, critical mass right here. This is a really good power spike for a Rumble player.
One where Sartorius sort of opted into this matchup. We'd somewhat seen the trend once Shen got locked in.
Yeah.
But now Sartorius needs to make this Liandry's and Sork shoes win a big team fight. You know, Clouddrake is on the table. Nobody's really looking at that yet. With towers starting to fall, it's just mid lane that's the target. So OG maybe put some resources mid like this.
But we see a few errors in planning again. He runs mid, kind of lurks around, and then he goes to catch top. He could have been preemptively battling for that top wave pressure already, right? So now there's a brief window of where Splyce is playing the map as 5 again. This is what they're trying to accomplish. Push top, and then they're looking for a teleport for now, as Stand United is still on cooldown to the bottom lane.
All right, so looking in the river though, before we get to bottom lane. Bubble onto Mickey, Cocoon as well, but here comes Trashy. The bug zigging for the spider. Deadly Flourish locks down Wisdom, he flashes away. Look at the Chaos Storm, that picks up a kill. Equalizer slowly putting damage down, but the gravity field locks Sartorius in place. Nehun puts the hammer down and flashes forward for nothing. Tabs finally closes out the kill with the piercing arrow. Kiva tastes their fear before he's shut down. Kobe goes over the wall. Tabs is doing well. All of that passive attack speed stacking. Messy fight. And it ends with Splyce acing Origen.
Messy fight, well played from Tabs though. Very often we criticize him that he does almost no damage in team fights. He's borderline invisible, but he plays that fight well. Great heal, keeps Hiva alive, prevents Trashy from switching targets. There was good exhaust use on the side of Splyce as well. He fought through all of that. But again, this is a play where even though it looked like Sartorius was reacting by being slightly quicker on a teleport, Splyce had this set up. They always had the defense. 2 main crowd control effects were used on the enemy support, and he didn't die because there was no damage follow-up. Let's watch this again. So let's see what the good land, double CC, but what is the benefit here? Essentially, the CC is wasting, right? Because Trashy zones them off. Wisdom starts the fight on 0% HP, and this is now a 5v4. So it's a win because Tabs plays it really well. Let's track him in the fight. It's a little far away. Finishes off Senkux. Good ulti. Steps out of the laser for the second part. Jukes the W, or Kiva catches it for him. Finishes off Trashy. And then here, I think he's going to flash a taunt flash, or just a taunt. Yeah. I think that was a double flash overall, so that's really well played by Tabs.
Yeah, really nicely done. And also some kudos to Hiva. He's hit so many bubbles over and over and over. And mitigating some of that damage, but that was the equalizer fight for Splyce. 3 for 5, closes the gold lead. However, a little slow on the defense, and it's actually Origen that now take the tower lead. Nehun, he goes forward, leap in from Trashy, curtain call comes out. Tidal wave will at least stop the impending doom. Trashy's got the Void Assault. Where is Senkux? He was running.
Yeah, he
from
was
the bottom
playing
lane.
bot lane. He's kind of fixing that wave in the bottom lane, and then Origen decided to punish it. I like it. Initiative when the Victor's on the side lane is very important, and they get the Shen ultimate on cooldown while still maintaining Rumble ultimate.
All right, so some growth here for Origen. Game 1 to game 2. Origen are actually making successful proactive plays. They're not being excessively punished, and the team composition's working in their favor.
And they can run mid lane right now, because look at Senkux. He's zoned around the corner. Cocoon plus poke here. Good vision setup as well. Slight double ward over the wall, but that happens. This is a moment where the game could break open in Origen's favor.
No stand united for Wonder or teleport. He's backed and coming up the lane. But there's no minions for Origen to work with.
And their side lanes are in a bad spot, and they're playing against the Victor, so the wave was successfully cleared out. But they're hanging in there. Much more consistent, and they're finding openings. They're showing that, no, yeah, Splyce is a great team, but you can't just clear side lanes for free. There's always a trade cost. And Origen, better in this game at identifying when there will be one and proactively moving on the map to kind of cash in.
I mean, it speaks a little bit to Origen's mindset here. Game 1 was really one-sided. They've come back into this, and from the early game of game 2, have been more proactive, you know? Wisdom helped get first blood top lane. They've pushed with a comp where it allows. Maybe a little over-eager at times, but they're keeping themselves even, and the team composition for Origen is like basically fully online. Nahyun and Tabs almost going to pick up their second items.
Yeah, they're still working through the Lethality Fiesta.
Yeah.
And then Satorius is building accordingly. No cheeky Zonia second, which kind of delays you. If you look at the matchup, a little bit of poke here. You want to get the Void Staff second, so you can always have priority over the Shen, and that's important. You can push into Shen and then disappear, and then you kind of match his teleport or his stand united.
Do you like Wisdom going AP Elise? Would you like? Does it matter in a poke comp? Would you prefer?
I think you can defend it here at least, but I feel like Elises without any traction in the early game are just useless. Or you got to be a really smart player where you can get into a brush, but I don't think they have a good enough vision. I think AP Elise only works when you have immaculate vision control, and more importantly, vision denial, so you can actually be in a brush and assassinate somebody. But to me, it feels like Wisdom walks up to somebody, cocoons him, realizes his team isn't close, gets hit by any skill shot, ends up on 40% HP, flashes out and dies. That feels like the kind of the pacing of teamfights right now. So if they can have good vision denial, this build is worth it.
Okay.
If you play in full vision, no, it's useless.
I'm looking at the minimap in terms of that vision. Pretty good wards around the dragon for Splyce.
It also
Nobody's touched it yet either.
It also means he can't tank Baron very well. They have really high damage on Baron, but somebody needs to like get hit.
Someone's going to get squashed down,
Yep,
which is scary if you consider Trashy and Senkux have got pretty good cleanup there.
All right, clear that wave Origen and then move to the Nashor buff. There's only one blue trinket that you can trade right here. You're not going to siege very well into a Victor. They'll at least clear the waves.
Decent damage onto Mickey, but no follow-up. Very good damage onto Trashy, and now Origen have got a minion wave.
Yeah, but the minion wave is so easily cleared out. That's my main worry here. Look at the vision they have. They have a straight pathway into the Baron Nashor. Nobody is actually, like, they can poke the enemy, but nobody walks up and hits his turret because Taunt Flash and Trashy's leaping. And their side waves are crashing into their bot lane turret, so I feel this right now is the moment where you run for Baron bait.
Origen, however, don't necessarily agree. Control ward in the river.
I mean, I'm only Diamond 2, so I might be wrong. But I still think it's gonna pay off.
See some pings. Equalizer used just to zone away under the tower.
Just look at the wave. Is the wave dying? That's the question.
Not just yet. Trashy's looking forward. Leaps out. Chain of Corruption buys time. Wisdom gets taunted up. He's already flashed away, but he survives this time.
At least he has 200 AP, Trevor. Very useful.
Origen, they really threw everything at that siege.
But just look at the potential they had in terms of map control and what they give up here. Like, this is Origen selling their Apple stock very early, you know, whenever did they go like public? I don't know, 70s, 80s? Like, Origen's that one guy that's sitting there, damn man, I sold the wrong time.
Apple and Microsoft.
Yep.
Neither of them did very well at the start, but if you had the IPO, you'd be much happier now.
Yep, and look at it. They got like 70% of a turret with that play. Whereas maybe they could have swung the game open. Like, and even thematically, is a single turret gonna make you win versus Splyce?
So, probably not, no. But It's good to see Origen actually on the same page, more as a team.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, again, execution is somewhat lacking. But Origen now 22 minutes. They're even on gold. And Splyce's team comp is now continuing to scale. More lethality for Kabi. Senkak's double items. He's got that Ludens as well.
Yeah.
And Wonder's getting even beefier. Is this where like Origen start to worry?
No, they have a couple more minutes to play this game, for sure. I think Splyce are also showing some weaknesses here. I'm not the biggest fan of this Victor pick. Would I like to see something with way more pressure, mobility? Like a Victor on a side lane is essentially useless. Like that was the main gripe people had with Victors in last season, is that that's kind of how 1-1-3 got born, because nobody wanted, like Victor wants to play mid all the time. He doesn't really like playing on side lanes.
Does not. This time though, Victor with the Chaos Storm actually got Sartorius' flash up top. Managing to put some pressure onto Sartorius. All right, looks like we're getting back to this Siege game.
Yeah, but there's a Scuttle Crab that's been taken, so Splyce can play this Siege much more kind of chill. When you know your opponent can't rotate into Nash, it influences how you play around your turret. Because you need to bear in mind maximum distance, maximum travel distance, base timings, and whether you are going to yield as well. They're so comfortable right now. They have much more room to play with because they have the vision.
Wonder, no flash available. Root onto Heaver, he's taunted as well. Trashy gets a kill, but look at that damage onto him. Curtain Call is firing across the Origen lineup, and Kabi is running for his life. The accelerated shock blast almost takes down Kabi. Defensive flash from Senkax. He used the Chaos Storm just for Sartorius. And Origen, they're still sieging the tower.
Yeah, they're still sieging, but look at the damage potential they have. Like, you saw how destructive their combo can be. Imagine if you're Splyce and you have to walk into that, as opposed to it's happening in full vision. That is the main problem. Here's Wunder again.
All right, Wonder gets a taunt onto Wisdom. There's at least some lockdown, and Senkax, the really easy death rate. Wisdom with his 212 AP by now.
Is
Just
it?
gets
197,
squashed down. Is it 197?
Yeah.
There we go.
I was lying. It's not even 200.
It's all right. The point was what mattered, though.
It was alternative AP facts.
Splyce, they're not yielding. The pressure that Origen's putting onto them is not hurting, and you know there's no option for Origen right now according to their gameplay. Right, Origen are not playing side lanes. They're not pushing very heavily.
Brute force sieging, and it can work if you land every skill shot, but the power of a poke comp is that you can walk up to someone who's like, do you want to eat this arrow in the face? No, step away. And then as they go far enough away, you take vision away from them. You take away choice. And then you walk into an objective and you force them to face check you, or they lose the objective. Instead, we've been seeing a battle for tier 2 mid lane turret for over 6 minutes now.
Yes.
While the majority of the side lane farm is going to Splyce, because earlier, about 3 waves crashed into the tier 2 turret in the bot lane. Senkux is playing on side lanes. They're trading the turret right now. So they're trading this 20% turret mid, if it even goes down, for 100% tower top. And that is a good play by Splyce, by all means. Like, we don't need to downplay how Splyce is playing the map here, but it shows you missed opportunity from Origen.
Yeah, missed opportunity indeed. Eventually, this tower falls down.
Here we go, Kha'Zix.
But there is a stand united. Wonder's looking for a taunt, locks down Sartorius. Spirit's Refuge is buying some time. Look at the Chaos Storm burning down Sartorius. Senkax continues to chase as Nahyun gets a decent shock blast.
And that's another weakness of a poke-up, especially if you move past 25 minutes. As these tanks get beefier, as you said, they're very prone to flanks. Especially two-pronged flanks where people can deliver an engage, like the Shen with the Kha'Zix, double gap close potential. You need to really mind the gap.
All right, Cocoon onto Wonder. AP Elise puts the damages down. Kabi with the Edge of Night. Looking to put some distance, needs to flash to safety.
Told you AP Elise was a great
Hey,
move.
you called it. In the bush with vision denial. That's where you get the kills, and that's exactly what Wisdom did.
Yep.
It just took 26 minutes
for it to happen.
Yeah.
But it could have worked out actually if they went to Baron. So like the build is never wrong. It's how you use the build that usually is what makes it not so great. Trashy sides up the wave, nice. Wunder goes in. Soaks a lot of damage, steps into Redemption. Yeah, that's his Redemption. And then Senkux with the flank. You know, look at just everybody's so scared of this Victor. And Wisdom can never walk up either. Like there's nobody there to draw the aggro on this team. So unless they're forcing predictable movement by Splyce by removing their vision, it's really hard to hit your stuff.
Yeah, it is. And that means that Origen are now marginally behind. I mean, we talked a lot about Origen and focused on them. Obviously, it's the team that's struggling the most in the split. But Splyce, on the other hand, week 1 to week 2, significant changes in the team. Week 1, really heavy-handed defeats to H2K.
They had one of the largest like historical stomps happen to them.
Week 2, then, you know, really good performance from Splyce. And, you know, just contrasting the team deaths, they actually gave up 46 deaths in 2 games in week 1. They gave up 9 deaths in 2 games last week. How do you see Splyce continuing to grow and develop? They seem to handle the pressure well this game. They reacted well in game 1.
Yeah, they're playing a naturally very slow comp here. Ooh, Wisdom Flash, Trashy. Baiting Summoners or getting caught? Let's find out.
All right, combination of both maybe. Death Ray and Chaos Storm available. Senkax's hands actually saves Trashy for now.
And Nahyun has a lot of damage. He's ramping up. One more item to go for the Holy Trinity of Lethality.
Well, this is obviously a different game.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to have perspective.
That's what would have happened. That's what it would look like in game 1.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it would look like in game 1 where Splyce pulled ahead.
It's what could have happened here if Origen went to Baron. That's basically what the stats team is telling us. They could have won. They could have snowballed. They could have had the peak in gold. Instead, the game is really even.
Yeah, Observer's highlighting that. Wonder's waiting in base. Got that home guard upgrade to his footwear. And teleport available, but not enough
He's crouched
pressure.
down on the starting line. He's ready to sprint his way in.
With those SKT Thunder Sticks.
Yep. Wisdom finds the pick, uses the cocoon and dies.
Yeah, Wisdom's already dead. There's no tankiness.
What an
wow!
unexpected turn of events here, Trevor.
Even Tabs gets chunked down. I think that was 2 shots of the curtain call. And he's taken from the equation. I mean,
that's why Varus is really strong.
Right, and this is a lot of damage, there's tankiness, but look at the poke from Origen.
Yeah, the poke from Origen, and they have to commit. There has to be a Rumble ultimate, and they have to fight because their jungler is dead, so they need to find Trashy. And Splyce is figuring that out, but they were just luring them in.
Hiva, the Aqua Prison this time around doesn't find its target, will get rooted down in place. Equalizes okay, but won't matter. Chaos Storm sends Nahyun and Sartorius running, and Wonder just tanks out the tower. Splyce, now they're turning on the pressure and the gears.
Yeah. And it's another game where I feel like I'm talking in circles when I criticize the Elise build, so I might be wrong. But this is something I really want to find out more. Is it me who's wrong? No, it's the children. It's these young new players.
Well, Wisdom 2, 3, and 1, not had the impact.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's not really been helped. The team has been struggling.
This is where the damage does work. If you need to be fast and get that stuff down quick, jungle's not close. This could be actually a really good call from Origen. They might die in the process, but just like last week, they may get the Baron.
There's no Chaos Storm for Senkax. He's running it. Baron picked up by Origen.
Flash.
But at what cost? Wonder with the flash taunt across the team. They've so far lost Sartorius. Looking for another. Nahyun's running away with his life. The curtain call misses every single shot.
Run, Nahyun, run. Let's see. Nahyun was the only one that could actually make it out of that Baron pit alive. Maybe if they left a plant up, you could repel out, but...
It's just, it's so is that good?
It's the best thing they could do at this point. At one point, when you make a lot of mistakes in your life, Trevor, you find yourself in a situation where you can do something really bad and something still bad but okay. And this is the call here for Origen. They would have lost this Baron eventually, so they decided to remove it as an option from Splyce and essentially neutralize and hope that they can get ahead, and eventually Nahyun makes it out as the sole survivor. He goes home to tell the tales of war. Jin hurts.
Yeah. You know, it's just, it's...
Got him.
That's the goal difference now. I mean, this game has been much closer. You know, Origen held the lead for a fair portion of the game. Admittedly, it was small. The biggest thing is the context of that lead not growing and A-ramming down the middle lane, not really working out to do anything further for Origen.
In terms of objective selection, let's actually see what Origen is doing here, because this is crucial. They're attacking the side lane in the setup. They're essentially stealthing in. This is mission impossible. They're hanging from a wire from the roof. Why are you warding that? Oh. You can't ward every bush in enemy jungle, because that means you're going to get spotted. You got to hope that you haven't been spotted yet, because this is going to happen then.
Chaos Storm, and that means Hiva's flashing away. Origen get the tower at least, but it costs Hiva's ward.
And they're engaging on Rumble in the mid lane.
Okay.
He dead.
Yep. He got deaded. The engagement happened.
All right, they're looking to dive this Vic.
Cocoon did not connect with anybody, but Senkax is able to flash away, and Crepo Stats is informing me that in 2017, this game is the highest number of towers that Origen has secured. But what is the cost for that record? Shutdown kill onto Trashy. Junglers traded back and forth. Wisdom dies as well.
It's a good hold from Origen. They were trying to do creative, but they had a Baron buff and they decided not to siege. They went for split and pickoffs.
Root onto Hiva. Where's the taunt from Wonder? Waiting for the cooldown to come back up. Flash forward for the bouncing grenade. Kobe gets another kill. Nahyun still running for his life. Split between the goalposts. Root, Nahyun taunts it up as well. Kobe's got one more shot.
Like, if you looked at the minimap and you would ask yourself which team has Baron, it felt like Origen was playing as if Splyce had Baron. So that's what you do versus a team with Baron. You attack the side lanes, you hit him in the setup so they can't get that split push or the Baron push into fruition. Or just playing a poke comp with a Baron buff on 2 members. That is what you're hoping for, so you can actually group and siege. Like, it baffles me that they didn't elect to go for a 4-1. Yes, Teleporter was down, Shen was pushing, but look at how you open yourself up for pickoffs here. Solo mission from Satorius, no Baron buff. Nami was bot at this point. No predict juke here on Senkax either. Really, like, yeah, the classic skill shot. Senkax just calmly outplaying that. It makes you wonder why. Why did they go for this play exactly? What went through their heads?
Yeah, what was the calling? What was the communication? You know, well, best case scenario, and obviously this re-engage was a very long chase. And it ends in Splyce getting themselves 2 more kills, I believe it was.
Nahyun has some sick deeps though. He smashed Trashy in the head right there. 1-2 punch and it was done. So in close combat, he can definitely deal some damage. But if he ever gets caught, obviously he falls just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Scores a nice goal there, though.
Just like that, you know? Locked down. Taunt comes up and Tab's the only person to get away. Ooh, that hurts. That really hurts. And you know, at the end of the day, like Origen, they tried so hard. You know, they got pretty far. 5 towers, Baron. But in the end, it just doesn't feel like it matters.
It didn't matter at all. Sometimes, to me, it feels like they're just in too deep, you know?
Yeah.
They're in over their heads.
They're really trying to keep the gold from going up above their heads.
Yep.
And jumping onto Senkax like this is one of the options. He stays alive for a few seconds longer. Almost gets, or he does! He gets the reply! 1 for 1.
Even in a 1v5, Satorius ends up going under.
Kobe and the rest of Splyce then open up with a curtain call. Eva anticipated more of an engage than what was actually coming.
Really important. Nahyun here versus Wonder.
All right, let's see. A lot of armor on Wonder. Almost got that Randians completed. Sunfire Cape and the Titanic. Stand United's going to be a gigantic shield.
Like, Wisdom is essentially a trampoline right now. Trashy bounces on him and then bounces forward. That's why you built tank versus Kha'Zix.
That has to become a thing. The trampoline player. Flash away from Nahyun. Manages to survive. Splyce get themselves a couple more kills and time on this tower.
Like, you can see whenever this Kha'Zix leaps in, everybody's like, yeah, somebody else want to tank this guy? Like, I'm a squishy, like, I need something to zone for me. There's too much damage on this lineup. You can play this, but it is quite complex to play without a single tank player.
And now you've got a poke composition that's behind 8,000 gold, that's run out of towers, that's run out of pressure. Now there's no options, because Wonder just points and clicks with a taunt, and somebody from Origen basically dies.
Yep. That's the beauty of point and click CC or just being tanked, because it creates space in teamfight. And Senkax is going late game Victor with a hyper mobility build as well. This is the best build versus squishies, because all you gotta do is get to them. So you have this Ludens, which gives you movement speed. You have Lich Bane, which empowers your autos as well. More movement speed. Like, it's actually really fun to play this type of Victor.
You can one-shot.
Yeah, you can still one-shot, but you're affecting for items that don't scale necessarily that well, usually. Earlier spike items. Look at him, Wisdom up, dead. Leap. And there goes Trashy, because he gets a free reset.
Leap.
Well, he leaps down in the abyss.
Yeah, unfortunately I think he was tanking the turret there as well. A lot of damage, but at the end of the day, 22 kills to 10. You know, Origen at one point in this game had the kill advantage. It was 5-2 a little while ago, and Splyce, they're just snowballing ahead.
Yeah, but in terms of VOD review, there was a key defining moment, and it was how they played the turret siege for Origen. We have to go back to it.
Yep.
And also for Splyce, by the way, because these guys, this is an easy game to come home. It's like, okay, we 2-0'd Origen. It was a little rough, but it was fine. I think we're happy. And then you move on. But like getting in that position versus a team means you played something wrong or you drafted something wrong, because you could have gotten checkmate like in 3 moves, essentially, if Origen played it well. So definitely something for Splyce to take down on the drawing board.
Against a higher caliber team with the composition, Splyce may not have had that opportunity.
Yeah, good team goes Baron, you lose your blue trinket, they go mid again.
Yeah.
Like it's just so they always have the priority. You lose your side lane push, you're always too late in terms of side lane pressure. They go Baron again, what do? You face check. You essentially flip a coin that you will survive and sneak away in where they're not punishing you.
Well, luckily for Splyce, the coin flip worked out in their favor, and the Splyce are, you know, back in this game. Taking a look at Mickey, by the way, 0-0-19.
They survived a lot of engages.
This Karma has done a lot of work. You know, one of the primary forms of CC, locking somebody down, allowing the taunts and the gravity fields.
And it's only getting worse right now, especially because he's getting that Mikhail's right now. At that point, it's over. Because any semblance of CC that lands will get negated. And the cool thing is, sometimes it's not worth saving your support, right? You shouldn't channel him. Like if you channel to Mickey, you keep him alive so he can help the team with redemption and lock it and more shield, so it's actually worth it.
Very valuable points, especially with all of the utility.
See, this is what a face check looks like, Origen. Maybe you should have done it earlier.
Add the note to VOD review. Baron is down, 3,500 HP. Wisdom is rooted, and Splyce look to be peeling. Where is the trampoline? The bounce hasn't happened yet, because it might be Hiva that needs to be the target. It's that Lichbane Senkux that gets the kill. Baron was interrupted as Curtain Call doesn't find any kills. And Origen now in a 4-on-5, another potential siege.
Yeah, that was the best outcome. That's where you ward an Asher. They're all doing it. Nobody's looking at you, and they disengage from it because they don't want a 50-50. So this was still the best outcome that Origen could get right here.
If any team was going to avoid a 50-50, it should be Splyce. Yeah. Trashy lost Baron to a Lulu support Glitter Lance 3 days ago.
200 base damage.
Yes.
Rank 3 Glitter Lance. We looked it up.
So, I like, this is growth, Crepo. This is growth. Splyce look and they go, hang on, there's a Nami bubble. Let's back out. Let's back out. Like that Aqua Prison.
Tidal Wave deals damage.
Yep. We done
it's actually dangerous to go for a Smite Steal against an AP at least, because she executes pretty well, and that's what junglers do best, is they go in on the range. Here, like Rumble ulti doesn't come out nearly early enough either. Look at what the damage it could have done. It's kind of late here.
And just like scattering, right? Origen just seems scrambled and scared.
Splyce setting up. Well, Origen is kind of desperate to reclaim the vision in their jungle because they now find out how much it matters. Splyce pick up a Constellation, Drake.
Not the strongest. There's only been 2 Cloud Drakes all game long.
It just denies it as a trade objective, really. Wunder has to be careful.
Does indeed. Shadow dashes away. Caught by a bubble, caught by a chain of corruption. Will buy some time. There's a Guardian Angel available for him. That's going to bring him back to life, but will it even matter? Ahiva has been dropped down. Now Wisdom, the trampoline target. Wonder still so tanky after the GA. Sand United channeling onto Senkux. Senkux looking to run down tabs. The 3 members of Origen are shut down. Exhaust onto tabs. It's Wonder that gets the kill credit, and Wisdom
is looking to steal Baron, but you can't steal your Nexus, buddy. I think they're going for the finish.
Just feels bad, man.
It's a rough one.
Yeah, it really is a rough one. This is Origen going 0-8.
Naehyun is still looking for his first competitive victory. Not even series, just a match. He doesn't know what the victory screen looks like on stage. Unless he walks over to his opponents, but usually they walk over to him. Like, it's rough.
This will be a 25-game losing streak for Naehyun. He went winless in the LSPL, and that is not a feeling that Splyce will know.
But Splyce, they bounce back, they take the 2-0, and it's exactly what they needed to do, and it was clean enough for them to be happy. But I think they know.
It's tough, man.
I think they know they left a window for Origen to punish them.
Splyce went 1-1 in the week. They lost to Unicorns of Love. A couple of Baron steals that should not have happened. It was a learning experience. Seeing how Splyce peeled away from Origen, it's a tiny sample size. A little bit of development, a little bit of growth, clean reactions to Origen. And Splyce end up finishing the first round of the group stage, 2 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, which means they can bounce back. Cross-group play will be so important for these guys. We can see the damage you can do if you can play currently in the European LCS a common collected style that gets you to late game without giving up too much losses. You can make waves. There's a lot of people still looking for footing, but it also shows you that to truly shine, you need a bit more aggression, or you need to be really good at that style, like G2.
What do Origen do? You know, 0-4 series, not picked up a game win, no Nexus killed. They've got players that seem to be outclassed. They've got a lack of strategic understanding. You know, it doesn't seem like they have answers.
I think you practice the hell out of one composition or two, and you just pray that you get it. I don't know, or you just focus on a single thing. You VOD review, but more importantly, keep team morale high, because you can't afford to get in team arguments right now. You need to get everybody on board with the mission of like, guys, this is a long-term project. We're gonna fight till the end. We're looking for growth, but it's so hard to sell that, because when you try and do that, your players can be like, yeah, buddy, that's all cool for you.
Yeah.
Because in struggling teams, every single player is like, am I even staying here next split? Like,
I think
what's
that's
gonna
important.
happen?
I think that's really important, because you cannot build a foundation of anything good on, you know, rotten baseline.
A good organization has players that will fight for their org even when times get rough.
Yeah.
In a very turbulent roster like situation, I've been there myself. We saw it plenty of times in the past. Is when you're losing, you're like, yeah, when's contract's over, end of the year, like I'm gonna peace out here. Let's start thinking about what's next. And then once if you lose the conviction, it's over.
Yeah, you're not focusing on what happens next to win a game. You know, what happens next in my career.
What happens next for me instead of what happens next for the team.
Well, these are questions that we might have to expand on later in PGL, Crep. But for now, we're going to head over to Wonder to find out more about that dominant victory.
Thank you very much, guys. I am wondering a few things, and I'll start posing them to you. First off, congratulations on your 2-0, but Game 2 was honestly a lot closer. What do you think the biggest reason for that was?
Yeah, I think Game 2 was closer, both because they had a comp that was really annoying to play against, right? So it was kind of hard to, like, I would say they kind of outscaled us, right? So we had to play it really careful, and their team fights, if they executed a bit better, could have like really devastated our team comp, right? So I think we also made a bit of misplays, and we didn't really abuse that we had Shen ult, and I myself, I messed up a bit of flash taunts that I normally don't do, but I did on stage here today, which was kind of sad. But I mean, the game was just a bit messy from our side, and it happens, but I think we dealt with it pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you still managed to pull out the 2-0, so, you know, even against a team like Origen, sometimes you can struggle. I mean, solidly, you're sitting in third place right now in the middle of the group. You're going to be beginning cross-group play. Are you happy with your team's growth so far, the split?
No, honestly, I think we started really bad, right? I mean, obviously, a lot of people had high expectations of us. We went to Worlds, and we performed really well last split, right? So I think at the start of the split, we had a bit of, I don't know if I would call it nerves, but we have a problem with like pulling the trigger on the stage, right? We have a problem of like going for these plays that we do in scrims, and we have the problem of like committing 100%, and we're kind of shaky on that part, and I think that's kind of a reason that we are in the position we are right now. Even though we are 2-2, that I think we can improve a lot, and we should become better by time.
Well, we'll see if it has happened, and you guys are going to be facing off cross-group play coming up next. A lot of fairly unexperienced top laners, so as from Fnatic being an exception in that group. Is there anyone you're worried about facing personally?
No, honestly, I've played every top laner in the other group almost in scrims, so I think they have a lot of strong top laners, so I'm excited to play them. I think the likes of Alfari, Expect, and stuff like that is going to be fun to play on stage. Soas, of course, as well, as you mentioned. So I'm honestly not too worried about like the 1v1 matchup or anything, but I think there's good teams on the other group and good top laners as well.
All right, so if you had to make a prediction for how you think things will shake out after that section of groups, who do you think you'll beat? Who do you think you'll lose?
I think it depends on like the day and how we play on stage. I think we can win against any team, and we have won against a lot of teams, and we have a really good record off stage. So if we can just like bring this momentum and like kind of play as we usually do, then we can beat any team, but we can also lose to any team if the reverse thing happens.
True that. Well, spoken like a true diplomat. Congratulations, though, on your 2-0. For now, we're going to send it to break it down at the analyst desk. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Pyra. And of course, conveniently, following that interview, Wonder has been awarded our player of the series. Some phenomenal Shen games coming in, and curious how you felt about his performance overall that series, Cabo.
Yeah, I think they played well as a team, and like all of them played pretty well. Wanderer played really good Shen, so congratulations.
Good to see. Of course, still missed a few flash taunts, as he wanted to point out, but of course, there were some positives coming in here for this series, despite it being, or for Origen in this series, despite it being a 2-0 for Splyce. Splyce obviously should feel pretty good about the series overall, but it feels like Origen was at certain points making the right decisions, but the execution just wasn't there.
Yeah, there were a couple of situations where it was better for Origen. Tabs, again, picking up like a triple kill in a select fight where Tabs shows us what he gave us in Season 4. That doesn't always show up, but then Origen at the same time kind of backing away at different times. I did like how they kind of pushed Splyce a bit more in Game 2 than in Game 1. And I mean, you look forward now to Origen Giants, Origen Rocket, and you think, okay, maybe Origen do look like kind of the second of the three. Maybe there's enough to pick up a win there, but it's certainly not convincing.
Yeah, interesting, of course. We take a chance now to look at that final fight where we saw, pretty chaotic once again, as we've seen from the majority of the fights in this series, but once again, kind of exemplifying the issues that we see on the lineup on the side of OG.
And this was Wunder going in for the engage to start. And from here, the curtain call comes out. Such good performance from Kobe on Jhin. High kill participation the entire game through. But at this point, Splyce have got such a gold lead. Trashy basically solos down Nahim with that red buff picking up the kill. And from there, Senkux, we're into late game Victor. He's standing across the rift from not too many champions that can really withstand this burst. And there's nothing Origen can do. Once they're scattered like that, once they're fragmented, Splyce is just so much stronger.
When we're focusing a lot on the late game, once kind of Splyce has built a gold lead, but the early game did feel like it kind of went well at certain points for Origen, especially when it came to playing on that top side. And Cabo, how did you feel about Wisdom's early pathing and the way that they set up that Rumble?
Yeah, early game was much better. Like we saw that's as well why the mid game was better, because like they had room to grow. And last game they lost the tower so early that the map was like all pressure from that. Here we can see that the counter game from Wisdom early is actually a pretty good setup for like when his Shen is 6, Rumble has TP to back it up, so it's cool, but then I guess they play on the wrong side of the map, and I guess we have a replay for that.
Yeah, we can bring it up. We were talking a little bit about the miscommunication here, because the team all seemed to be on the same page for like 1 or 2 instances, but when it required to group as 5, we always see that fall apart. So as we look at Nahun kind of fumbling around in the mid lane as we get that next replay up shortly, you can see how everything sort of went south in this tower trade overall. It's going to be him wandering back and forth, and keep your eyes kind of on the mini-map as we play this out, because there's a lot of action across the map, and Nahun can just not decide where to go.
This is such a pivotal moment, and we don't know whether it's miscommunication, inexperience, the lack of trust in his team here. Nahun just sits in mid lane, where Wisdom is solo pushing top tower, and Sartorius is dying bot tower. He could have gone to either lane and assisted, tries to just sit mid. They would have been able to take a tower trade had he gone up, and he just sits there and realistically does nothing. And a lot of people have given him criticism. It's moments like this that he could have had a pivotal effect in this game in favor of Origen, and there was just no decision made.
And still, I mean, it feels like the defense of the tower was really, really risky from OG. Like a gambit that I don't think most teams would take, with Rumble TPing down there, with Hiva coming back with a tidal wave to try to clear out a minion wave. It feels like a desperation play, but I mean, it really does feel like it all came down to Nahun kind of not being where he needed to be.
Yeah, well, I think that they have 2 choices. Like from the start, when they know they have TP on the Rumble, they can just go bot side and try to play with the Elise. If she's already there, then with the TP, like they can maybe try to pull something off. But here we can see that I think they wanted to 3-man dive top. That's why we see Jace moving towards there at first. But then, like the TP bot when the jungler is top and Jace is staying mid when they can get first tower. So yeah, it's a lot of miscommunication. Like the decision making was not the best there.
Yeah, overall, pretty big fumble coming in on the side of Origen, but they are still seeing some positives for this team, despite their 0-8 record thus far. Maybe they're going to find games in the coming weeks. We're going to have to see how they develop. Splyce looking a little bit cleaner. We heard, of course, from Wunder that things aren't where he wants them to be. We'll see if they can improve as well. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have our final matchup of the week between Roccat and Fnatic.
Trashy is already jumping in on the squishies. Tabs and Hiva, they've been opened up on. Stand United will deliver Tabs to Wunder's hands.
We need to call this like that they're doing. There's no information. Just call, please.
Tabs finally closes out the kill with the piercing arrow. Hiva tastes their fear before he's shut down. Kobe goes over the wall. Tabs is doing well. All of that passive attack speed stacking. Messy fight. And it ends with Splyce acing Origen. But what is the cost for that record? Shutdown kill onto Trashy. Junglers traded back and forth.
For Splyce, they bounce back, they take the 2-0, and that's exactly what they needed to do. And it was clean enough for them to be happy.
1, 2, 3, Splyce!